let me just get started by talking about the UCLA campus protests. For those of you who weren't in here last night, I went to UCLA. Go Bruins. It is a campus that I've actually lived in the past. So it's close to me for a personal reason. My brother went there for his master's. I think UCLA is a wonderful institution overall, and the students there are doing something phenomenal. Much like all around the country, the students at UCLA have set up an encampment with 5 major demands that they're making. Most importantly, most salient ones being obviously divestment. The UC structure is massive, but UCLA in particular, I think it might be the UC structure in and of itself has $169 billion. UCLA specifically has an endowment of $6.7 billion. And a lot of that has no transparency whatsoever. What that means is like, it's basically a massive slush fund that the university operates like a hedge fund, not dissimilar to a hedge fund, that will go and make investment choices. Now, obviously, divestment is not a new concept at all. Divestment means to no longer invest in certain fields. I talked about this at the protest yesterday as well, but it bears repeating. Divestment is something that isn't really new. It's been done for, obviously, in the past, it's been done successfully against apartheid South Africa as well. However, divestment occurs not just for like global war and apartheid and unjustifiable hierarchies implemented by other states or whatever. Divestment can also occur in the form of climate change. As a matter of fact, a lot of these financial institutions have genuinely, in an effort to greenwash and in an effort to market themselves as like progressive, have divested from fossil fuel companies and the like. These were demands. A lot of companies have divested from tobacco. A lot of companies have divested. A lot of these hedge funds have divested from tobacco in the past, alcohol sometimes, and the latest being, before Israel, the latest being the fossil fuel industry in general. It's perfectly reasonable. It's perfectly normal. Don't let anybody tell you that it's like unimaginable and unacceptable and it's never been done before. Many of these colleges, as a matter of fact, very quickly divested from Russian interests and Russian assets. That was never even a talking point. I mean, they did it because they toe the line of the State Department. However, Israel is an ally. Israel is a phenomenally important nation state that for American interests in the region. So, of course, when students demand divestment from funds that facilitate and support the Israeli apartheid regime, all of a sudden it's a big deal. It's not. Don't let anybody try to gaslight you into thinking that it is. So that's the number one major reason for what these students want. The second demand is to provide full transparency for what they're investing in particular. Like I said, $169 billion overall in the UC system. And I think it's perfectly valid for the students that pay tuition to get better insight into where their tuition is going. None of this is complicated. These are perfectly reasonable demands. And the silence specifically, number 3 is end the silence. That is, of course, specifically about silencing protesters, silencing students that are in support of Palestinian emancipation. Number 4 is boycott. And number 5 is abolish policing on campus. Now, listen, these are, I will say, some of these are obviously not going to happen, realistically speaking. But that's not the purpose. The purpose of protest is not to get every single demand. The purpose of the protest is to get as much as the demands met as physically possible, realistically possible, and arrive at a decent middle ground. When you go out as a union, for example, and you demand better wages, fair wages from your bosses, or better benefits packages, you don't get everything that you want unless you're Sean Fain. Shouts out to the UAW. Those motherfuckers know how to strike real good. But in most cases, there's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be a back and forth. So make no mistake. People saying these are ridiculous ideas, they're lying to you. People that say that none of these are going to happen, they will never meet these demands. They're lying to you. And ultimately, if they don't meet all of their demands, but the university capitulates to, all of these very reasonable demands, many of these very reasonable demands, as a matter of fact, if people turn around and say, you didn't get everything done, do not listen to those naysayers as well. So that's the situation. That's what's going on. That's why the students are protesting, contrary to what gets cut out and makes its way to mainstream media. The reason why I went to the encampment in particular, and I got permission ahead of time from the student organizers, was specifically to show you an insider's perspective. A lot of these students are fans of mine. A lot of these organizers are members of this community as well. And obviously, for that reason, they trusted me to not be a dipshit with a camera. If you noticed, there were very few people inside of the encampment with cameras. They deliberately do not allow people with cameras to go inside of the encampment for obvious reasons, for good reason, as a matter of fact. They don't want people with cameras to go in and try to dox students. That's a deliberate thing. That is a deliberate attempt by many Zionist groups that go in to, one, agitate, and also simultaneously, inevitably dox these students for the crime in their eyes of protesting against the state of Israel, which is unimaginable. So I wanted to show you guys, and hopefully I do know that there's a lot of journalists that are in this community as well that watch, that will hit my management up regularly. They all can use the footage as well if they would like to show a different side of the protests, an insider's perspective from how these protests work. And I think we did that. We did a phenomenal job of showcasing that yesterday, especially by showing you the vibes overall in the protests early on. Everything was phenomenal. It was great, positive attitude overall. People are chilling. People are having fun. They're singing, they're dancing, they're playing soccer. They got their tents, they got food. They're super well organized. And then we found out, like you literally saw the change. We found out that there was a counter protest set up by the students, some of the students, but mostly just outsiders that aren't even college age at all, and their children in some instances, that came. There was a counter protest. There was a Zionist counter protest set up. Immediately when the Zionist counter protest was set up, police formed a line, and to the credit of the university, the police actually set up a line outside of the encampment, putting their backs to the encampment and facing outward at the counter protesters. Normally, this is not just simply symbolic. Normally, in most circumstances, the roles are reversed. If the police are turned at the encampment and turn their backs to the counter protesters, that oftentimes spells trouble, okay? That's something you need to understand. That means that they're there to break the actual encampment. This was not LAPD, it was campus police, and it wasn't like regular campus police either. It was like the least militarized version of campus police. It was the bike cops and So I will say that is a directive from the Institute, even though, as far as I understand, UCLA shut down both of the buildings surrounding the encampment, and also on top of that, shut off the Wi-Fi in that area so that the students themselves could not continue with their midterms. That's what UCLA's term for finals is. It's midterms week right now. They have quarters. But yeah, here was the moment where we found out. This is the flyer that they were running around. Emergency rally at UCLA today, April 25th at 6 p.m. Please show up and show your support. Stand with Jewish students. Meet in front of UCLA library. Hashtag stand with Israel. Let's shut it down. United Jewish Coalition. So the United Jewish Coalition is like campus organizers, Hillel and the like, as far as I understand. However, midterms is not finals. Midterms is a test in the middle of the quarter. Okay, whatever. They have midterms in the middle of the quarter. Doesn't matter. My point is that they were there to disrupt, and you saw that throughout the day. A lot of the Zionist counter protesters would try to break into the encampment, and like either physically assault the protesters or break into the encampment. And this is what I heard from Lolo. Apparently their goal overall, and without a shred of irony, I'm explaining this to you. The goal overall was to break into the encampment and set up their own tents in the middle of the encampment. The Israel defenders wanted to Israel the pro-Palestinian encampment. They wanted to they wanted to settle and colonize the pro-Palestinian encampment. I'm sorry, but that is so fucking insane to me that, like, you are so goddamn one note and so used to doing this kind of thing, and you are so used to getting police help, like help from the military to do such things, that you thought you could fucking do Israel in the middle of the UCLA campus. I don't know what to tell you. I guess I admire the moral consistency inside of their own immorality, inside of their own neat little logical bubble that they've created. They have decided that they can, do the thing that Israel does in the defense of Israel anywhere they go. It's like the meme, Mom, can we go to the West Bank? And she goes, we have the West Bank at home. Yeah. Here's an example of what I was talking about. By the way, there's more to this, but I believe this was his own banner, and one of the organizers was taking the banner away. But this is one of the guys who snuck into the Gaza Solidarity encampment at UCLA and started putting his hands on multiple people, trying to provoke protesters. Oh wait, it's not. Maybe it wasn't his. It was her banner potentially. I don't know. We know who this guy is. We know who this guy is. And let me tell you, he does not go to this school. That's the dude who I called the broke boy.
I just need space to breathe. I need space to breathe. Back up, bro. You can get out, right? Why are you putting your hood on now? Don't push me. You don't want to be on camera, bro? You don't want to be on camera? Okay, I don't want to see you. There you go. Hello. Say hello.
Here it is. Am I crazy, or is the guy in the black with the white shoes the same guy in this video? It is. So we wanted to help out as best as we could. And the students were like, we need big bodies to carry heavy stuff. Shouts out to the HasanAbi heads who helped me out midway, by the way, because goddamn, I was like, yeah, no, I'll carry this big old thing. It was like a couple 100 pounds.
Little tiny.
I know, I bought it. So I'm carrying this thing, and these two dickheads are leaving the counter protest. And this one says, this big old dickhead right here, this little tubby boy, he says, oh, there's free food if you say you're free Palestine, if you say you're for Palestine, they'll give you free food. Because he's like, oh, these are broke college students. You know what I mean? Captain Zionism over here. So I said, I know, I bought it. I'm good, brother. Thank you. And he said, want me to reimburse you your money? Now, obviously, it's a gross thing to fucking say, right? It's just like, you guys are broke, I'm rich, blah, blah, blah. It is, however, pretty funny to say it to me, a person who has been canceled endlessly for having money, like literally all the time. So I'm probably the worst person to be like, haha, yeah, dude, let's go band for band, brother. My daddy is super rich. My daddy has a used car dealership. You know what I mean? The worst motherfucker to say that to. But he doesn't know that. So I said, I'm good, brother. When he said, I'll reimburse you. Want me to reimburse you? I'm good, brother. Thank you. Also, I just want to point out, my lats are out of control. For those of you who are unfamiliar with how yacked I have become, you can literally see my motherfucking lats poking through this baggy ass jacket that I'm wearing. I just want to point that out really quickly. Like, not the flex, but goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit is out of control. Be for real. Be for fucking real, dude. You know how these muscles grew? Because I've been defending Palestine. That's how. If you want to get muscles like this, you got to hit the gym, and you have to always and unconditionally support Palestinian emancipation. That's an irrelevant point, but I do have to, I do have to flex on the haters a little bit because, god damn, son. Anyway, so I'm carrying this fucking big old thing that we're going to put in one of the entry points. Okay. My mother watches this stream. Well, shouts out to your mom. What's up?
Broke boy.
So I called him a broke boy while walking and carrying this. Okay. I called him a broke boy while walking and carrying this big old thing. And he was like, I'll buy your whole family. I'll buy your whole family. Anyway, that was the interaction that I had. That was the interaction that I had with that loser. But, didn't know at the time that was the loser that was apparently being an asshole.
Little tiny.
Also, by the way, shouts out to the anti-Semitism defenders out here. Shouts out to those who are like, anti-Semitism is on the rise. Why? Because of Jews, the puppet masters behind the anti-Semitic protesters, George Soros. Right-wingers are so funny, dude. Right-wingers can't stop. They have to go and do the things that they do. How do people not get humiliated for acting like that? When you're a rich kid, when you're a rich bitch from Los Angeles, growing up in fucking Beverly Hills, surrounded by other dickheads that are also rich in Beverly Hills, and that's all you have is like how much your daddy, like all you have is all your accomplishments are basically how much your daddy has made. You have nothing going on, so you're a loser, and you talk about how rich you are. That's it. That's what people do. It's one of the grossest things that anybody does, to be like, oh, I'm so rich, I'm so rich. It's like, this is something that even the most hardline capitalism lover and defender will despise. It's just it's a very gross behavior. It's very insecure, and these guys are demonstrating it once again, you know? But yeah, I mean, what do you expect? Look at this loser. But yeah, so that is a big part of the reason why these fucking losers break in to the encampment, so they can like put a camera on your face, try to dox a couple students, try to rile them up. Y'all did a great job not giving them attention. What you showed is way more important. Look at every local news station using counter protests to portray the encampment as violent by hyper focusing on 20 seconds from a peaceful 24 hours. Yeah, shoving match breaks out at UCLA campus. Mini scuffle briefly breaks out during pro-Palestine rally. Do you see this? Dueling protests on UCLA campus. Look at what every single local news is doing. Look at the way they're covering it versus you saw the reality with your own two fucking eyes. I'm so glad I went there. This is precisely the reason why I went there. I went there to show you exactly what these students were demanding, what the vibes look like, what was actually happening, so that you could, with your own two fucking eyes, make that real assessment in real time. See what the fuck is actually going on. See what this was actually about, and not get baited by these dumbass malicious actors in local news trying to cut propaganda. This is how consent is manufactured. This is how it always works. And you saw exactly what happened. The students were phenomenal. They were so well organized. They kept their eyes on the prize. They know exactly what this is about. And that's precisely the reason why they obviously limit the communication with mainstream organs, that they want to make sure that the people that are talking to cameras are actually media liaisons, people that are going to be spokespersons for the encampment. But the media hates that. They're like, why can't we just exploit college students and like put a fucking camera in the face of someone who's not going to communicate the desires of the encampment to the best of their ability, and we can make a mockery of them, because that was their fucking goal. That's always their goal. It was actually crazy. I was there yesterday, and as soon as someone pulled up with the Israel flag, the media will flock to them and interview them instantly. Now, let me explain something to you. I'm a content creator. I have content brain. I have content brain too. You think I don't know what pops off? You think I don't know that like going to the counter protesters and asking them a bunch of questions would have actually been much better for content overall, much better for the drama overall? Of course it was. Of course it would be. But I had an actual purpose to show you what the fuck was going on. That's why I didn't put a camera on the faces of all these clout sharks. You understand? Like, these guys are not just simply doing this because they're dick riding Israel and want to fucking manufacture consent for Israel and show the Palestinian students as like or the pro-Palestinian students as like dumbasses and silly and stupid and make a mockery of them. There's two different reasons for it. One is obviously the underlying attitude of cutting pro-Israel propaganda for sure. But the other reason why they're doing it is because, yeah, this is good content. The drama is good content. If it bleeds, it leads. We know this already, right? So they want these kinds of clickbaity moments. Bro, every time I unmute stream, I have no idea what's going on. Dropping in to say your shoulders look amazing. Thank you, Blau. But another thing I wanted to mention to you is that the children in Gaza see the student protesters. They see it. They see the solidarity. That's what's really important. That's what this is also about. They know that they're not alone. Think about that. They're currently in tents, okay? They're currently forced to live inside of tents in horrifying conditions that Israel, the apartheid regime, has subjected them to. And in the brief moments where they do have some internet, they do have some electricity, they see the footage coming out of the Western world. They see the solidarity and they appreciate it. Okay, Bizon also responded. I'm going to show you that too.
Thank you. The protesters now getting a message of support from the people they're fighting for, the children in Gaza.
We love the students of Harvard University. Here, the students of Harvard University. We respect the students of your university. Thank you, the students of Columbia University. We respect you. We hear you. We love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. That's what it's about. So fuck everybody that talks shit. Fucking assholes. Blau, the Jewish people should be uniquely empathetic to the displacement and destruction of a people. My grandpa, who is Jewish or something, I don't know. I watched the stream on mute. Yeah, Blau's grandfather, World War II veteran, right? Jewish World War II vet. Blau's grandpappy, also anti-Zionist, happens to be the oldest HasanAbi head in this community. Shouts out to Blau's grandpa, even though Blau watches on mute. So, as I was saying, I'm going to show you what Bizon had to say about it as well. Remember, they see it. They see the actions that you're taking. It is not for nothing. Not only is divestment a good practice, not only is it, yeah, I don't understand politics. You're just, okay, Blau, come on. Stop trying to portray yourself as a himbo. So remember, not only is divestment good practice in general, but a show of solidarity from the Western world and the children of powerful individuals in the Western world that go to these elite institutions, putting their fucking bodies on the line, putting their careers on the line, putting their future prospects on the line, with the risk of arrest, with the risk of having their lives be threatened by doxing. They see that. They recognize that. Palestinians, in all of my years of coverage, in all the years that I've talked to Palestinians, and all my years of coverage of the Palestinian cause, Palestinians have always brought up awareness as the primary, the primary thing that people in the Western world can do, because their conditions are that bad, and there is no information about their plight up until now, right? There is no broad awareness of the things that Palestinians are subjected to until now. And here you have Palestinians recognizing that and celebrating it. So remember, when people get upset at the protests, oh, they blocked the road. Oh, why are they doing these encampments? Oh, let's center the protest, the student protests and the student activism around the feelings of agitators and direct dick riders of Israel that are perpetrating that violence to the Palestinians. Let's center their feelings in this conversation in the Western world. When mainstream media does that shit, doesn't work. Palestinians see that. Don't listen to the naysayers.
5 years old, I've lived my whole life in Gaza Strip and I've never felt hope like now. Never. I mean, it's magical feelings running in my veins right now in my head. I'm in Gaza City, in the north of Gaza Strip, rebuilding my city after this genocide is in. I even started to dream that my friends from Yafa, Haifa, Akka, Al-Majdal are returning to their cities after being displaced for 75 years. These young heroes in universities around America and the world are stronger than the last occupation in history. And for the first time in our lives as Palestinians, we hear a voice louder than their voices and the sound of their bombs, and even stronger than their control in all aspects of our lives. In the 70s, the occupation prime minister said after decades of killing Palestinians, stealing their lands, and establishing State of Israel over the lands, that the adults will die and children will definitely forget. Wait, is that the greatest remontada in history? Because it's children and youth who are leading the movement now for a free Palestine, putting everything they have on the line to demand justice, an end of the genocide, and a new era of the world, not based on oppression, exploitation, or colonialism. Do you know what the best part is? Demonstrations and calls for boycott in the academic institutions are not limited to a certain people from certain religion, culture, color, race, or maybe economic level. We are all different. So we can no longer be accused of anti-Semitism, serving some agendas from outside. We are just different people calling for the same thing. People to people, and people to justice. 200 days of spent escaping death every single minute were not in vain. And those
is the least we can all do in the face of endless cruelty, in the face of endless violence that our state is facilitating, a genocide that Israel has brought upon this population that does not deserve it. Nobody deserves ethnic cleansing, of course. The collective punishment that our state facilitates, the least we can do is say, not in our name, stop fucking funding and facilitating this genocide, stop offering political cover to kill Palestinians without any sort of repercussions whatsoever. These kinds of protests, these kinds of demonstrations is the least we can do. It should be the starting point of this conversation. And I guess it bears repeating, but I had not felt this much hope in so many years. It almost felt like it was February and the Nevada primaries that happened for Bernie Sanders all over again. Hopefully the outcome won't be as devastating in the aftermath of that, but it just don't give up the pressure. I know it's going to get hard. It's going to get worse, as a matter of fact, especially as the Israel defender side sees that they do not have the numbers in the face of broad support from the Western world, especially younger generations, finally recognizing Israel's unimaginable cruelty. They're going to look to allies to bring numbers out. It's going to get a little bit harder. The agitators and the counter protesters aren't simply going to be rich fucking dickhead fail sons from Beverly Hills like the ones we saw at the UCLA campus protest. It's going to be Christian Zionists as well. And those guys are fucking nutty. They're insane. We're going to cover them a little bit because they held a counter protest at Columbia University last night. When that happens, it will get a little bit worse for everyone involved. However, that's where the dam will break, in my opinion. That is going to be the most important battle in this otherwise peaceful protest. They probably will not keep it peaceful. The Christian Zionists are used to getting their way. They're used to having the militarized state do their bidding. But every single action that you take in the direction of Palestinian emancipation matters.
40,000 innocent souls were killed during these days were not also in vain. And this is the first time to feel this and to tell you this. Keep going, because you're our only hope. And we promise we will hold our ground and tell you the truth always. And please, don't let their violence scare you. In Arabic we say, ظهرهم في الحيط. In English, that means...
What does it mean? I'm saying this is what it's all about. Divestment is a reasonable and just demand, but also the Palestinians in Gaza see you. They recognize the solidarity. Do not listen to the naysayers and those who seek the attention on the feelings of Zionist counter-protesters. It means they're cornered. Their back is against the wall is a literal translation. Center attention on the feelings of Zionist counter-protesters. But yeah, I guess like I said, the final note I wanted to say was the feelings that I had last night. Lolo had some choice words as well, but basically I felt hope. Like I'm a pessimistic dude. You guys know that my brain is broken. I'm a brain rotted individual. I'm a brain broken individual. I mean, that doesn't stop me from, doing the right things. That doesn't stop me from fighting for what I believe is right, what I believe is just. However, having said that, actually going out there, actually seeing the students, actually hearing their own personal experiences, talking to you guys in the chat, but in person, in the real world, it inspires me. It reminds me why I do what I do. It gives me so much confidence. It gives me so much confidence. It gives me so much hope. Like I said, I met some of the kindest, most amazing student activists tonight, and it filled my heart with so much hope. I highly suggest attending a protest sometime. In the midst of all the pain, the future seems brighter than it did yesterday. Yeah, it was amazing. It really was. Lolo said, our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. I think he also posted the ending.
All right. And that's it, folks. Lolo, you got some final words after that? It's going to be hard to follow.
I don't know.
Watch out.
Sorry. It's very inspiring to be here. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't zoom up on his face, dude.
He got close.
Listen.
He got close.
Listen. This is what it's about, okay? F all the haters. F all the naysayers. This right here is what it's about. Do you understand? There's gonna be, in life, there's gonna be people that say, F you, you're wrong. You don't know what the f you're talking about. As long as you know that your cause is just, keep pushing. And that's it. I would have never imagined this much of a crowd at a college campus anywhere in solidarity with the Palestinians in my whole life. I never would have ever thought I would see this day. And I didn't stop advancing. I did not stop advocating for the cause. And now I don't feel lonely. I don't feel as lonely anymore. And that's because of you guys, that's because of you in the chat, that's because of all of these people out here that are putting their bodies on the line, that are putting their careers on the line, that are facing possible doxing, facing assault, facing being brutally arrested for doing what is right. So I hope that you can continue advocating for the right things. All right? Love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, chat?
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Yep. Exactly a month ago, I asked you why this is not stopping, and you told me just don't stop raising your voice. That is all we can do now, and I see hope. Thank you so much, Hasan. Of course. And thank you guys as well for doing your part. I need you to remember something. What do we have to say to that? I mean, it's pretty funny. I need you guys to remember something. I need you to remember something very important. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Wait, are they really saying you stole pizza? They're joking. Someone bought pizza for the UCLA protest and Hasan the Hun came and took it all. I can't believe his fans still think he's a good person. Pookie, they're trying to community notes for this. I'm trying to be on PolitiFact. Yeah. Rich people buying their way out of having to do real activism. Here, I did my part, guys. I spent a few $100 on pizza, a drop in the bucket of my wealth. See you later. Keep up the good fight. Free Palestine. It's like, what has this guy done? I saw this. This guy's been just linking everybody how to suck your own dick as an article. Couple things to remember. I reiterated this quite a bit when I was there, when I was talking to many of you in the chat that were out there putting your bodies on the line. I am one man. What I do is nothing if devoid of a community. If I don't have you guys actually listen and actually put my words into action, internalize it, understand it, figure it out on your own, do the reading, do the activism, go out and unionize your workplace, go out and attend protests, become community organizers, become student organizers, engage in activism. If I could not motivate you to do that, then this would be meaningless at the end of the day. It would simply be entertainment. And there are many out there who actually do this simply for the entertainment. You can usually get a better glance of like what their framework looks like from what they cover for the most part. Those who see the next big thing as another possible opportunity to engage in debates, and if it wasn't for Palestine, they'd be talking about ethical child pornography or whatever the fuck. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Those guys are just doing it because they don't have a stake. They don't have a dog in the fight. They don't really care about the humanity. They don't really care about the victims of Israel's actions. They don't care about it all. They care about the drama, and they care about the clicks, and they care about farming this kind of stuff for their own personal benefit. And those very same people, because of my literal endless support and consistent coverage on the matter, were making fun of me, saying that my community had fallen apart, saying that I was dying, saying that I was falling off, saying that it was like hurting my feelings and I was suicidal or some shit, which is ironic because while a big chunk of this community did fucking leave in the aftermath of October 7 because they just simply saw the brutal images, and those images were brutal, the atrocities of October 7, and could not understand how someone that they trusted as a progressive figure would be on the side of these barbarians in their minds, that they could not, their cognitive biases kicked in, and they could not comprehend the larger slant of justice and what is due for the Palestinians. And I understand if you've learned everything a very different way your whole life, especially as it pertains to Israel, you are going to be resistant to that kind of commentary. But a lot of people left for that reason. That did not stop me. That did not cause me to say, you know what? I'm not covering this anymore. I care about the clicks. I care about the fucking views. I care about making sure that I am as large of a content creator as possible, making as much money as possible. And I didn't do that because I've never done that. That's why it's always funny when people say that I'm a grifter. But this is not about me anyway. The reason why I rarely ever talk about this aspect of it, unless I'm directly talking about like some of the consequences of being an advocate for Palestinians, is because there is real pain out there. At the end of the day, I'm still financially comfortable. I'm a phenomenally privileged person. I live in West Hollywood. I never have to imagine my entire family being blown apart and living in a tent for 6 months on end as the rest of the world, the leaders in the Western world, champion my demise, champion the death and destruction and defend it. So for me, it's nothing. It's nothing. What I do is nothing. What we do is nothing in comparison to what those people are experiencing, what the Palestinians are experiencing in Gaza and in the West Bank as well. That's why you have to put your best foot forward. That's why you have to consistently keep up the pressure and consistently advocate for Palestinian emancipation, for the humanity of the Palestinians. You understand? It's the least we can do for them, and they see it. Like I said, I'm so proud of all of you guys that are doing your part, all of you that are attending these student protests. I'm so proud of all of you. You have so many people come to you and tell you how much you inspired them to do activism in the real world, yet the haters are completely ignoring that. Yes, because the haters don't have a stake in this other than cutting content. Do you think the drama farming perverts like Willie Mac Show or Destiny give a single about the dead Palestinian children or the student activism that's happening? No, they care about the drama. They want to make money. When rent is due, they got to do what they have to do. That's it. They're deeply unserious people. And that works because a lot of people are still on the edges. A lot of people are still very sheltered from the truth. So ultimately, for their audiences, this kind of stuff works really well. They get to still maintain the moral presence that, like, they might be pro-Palestine, they might not be, who knows? But actually, this guy who has a community, this community that is one of the largest pro-Palestinian communities online in the Western world, is actually bad. Why are they bad? Because we found a couple clips out of context. That's it. It's not helpful. It's not productive. It's transparent to many. It's transparent to many who do care. But yeah, a lot of right-wing protesters go to pick fights and record it so they can become mini celebs too. I've seen it a bunch of times, trying to feed into the victim narrative because they're always unpopular enough that they can't field a significant crowd for a real protest. Yep, there's a lot to feel optimistic about. So let's focus on that. It made me feel great seeing so many students, dude. And I think that it was, yeah, I don't know. It was great. I highly recommend you guys attend these protests. 100%. Do your part. Also, shouts out the HasanAbi waiting room. My man, the GOAT, came up to me at the protest and was like, hey, I was able to pay my tuition here because of your lack of copywriting. Hold on, let me close some of these. Oh my god, Ben Shapiro's eyebrows look insane right now. What is happening? I was a right-leaning paradox playing brainwashed by bad history class moron when I started watching you in 2018. I appreciate the efforts to educate. Hell yeah. Oh, here. This was a wonderful little moment from the protest as well. This is HasanAbi waiting room on Twitch. Also, shouts out to Lesbi Rights. I don't know where she is right now. I don't know if she's in the chat or not, but another HasanAbi head, PSL Andy, congratulations. They are killing it right now. Sorry if I misgendered them. Someone immediately said they. I don't know if that's the case or not, but yeah. Lesbian HasanAbi heads, rise the up. Also, yeah, like I said, dude, I love this shit. Okay, this is extremely my shit. This is HasanAbi waiting room on Twitch. He was able to pay part of his tuition from his channel that replays clips of Hasan streams whenever Hasan is offline.
Not Rusty though, the other one. Thanks to you, I was able to pay. HasanAbi waiting room. I was able to pay the tuition thanks to them. I appreciate you. You were able to pay your tuition? Yeah, I was able to pay your tuition thanks to you not taking off like having your you're not copywriting your stuff. You hear? I appreciate that. There ain't no way.
That's awesome. That makes me so fucking happy. Yep, there it is.
Hey, you paid your tuition off that? You're lying. Part of it. That's crazy. That's awesome. I do get Foxstar and Telegram, but it doesn't cover all of it. So I appreciate it a lot. Fuck yeah, man. Hey, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for being here. That's so sick. Look at that.
That's awesome, dude. That makes me so happy. Chatters are showing up. Bro, there's like 600 people there. 200 of them are chatters. That was awesome. Anyway, like I said, fuck the haters, dude. This is what it's about. Fuck the haters. They can make a million fucking drama videos. I will not stop. And as long as you're here, as long as you're with me, as long as you put the things that we talk about in here into action, then that's what matters. Everything that I do is in advancing exactly this, okay? Sometimes I do shit that you don't understand. You're like, what? Why does he play video games? streams? Why is he doing this collab? Why is he doing that collab? It is to expand outside of the boundaries of this community and to put our best foot forward. And many others recognize that on the other side. And that's why they work in real time, around the clock, constantly trying to undermine that effort, trying to make me into a toxic being, trying to basically cast me aside and make it hard to be openly a fan of mine, make it hard to be openly a friend of mine and collaborate. But it doesn't work. That patronizing purple hair guy. This house belongs to the dude who got his wig snatched by Hasan the other day. That's so funny. A new revolutionary icon. Oh yeah, I saw this. Water jugs have been doing the most out here. Forest X, thank you for the 5 gifted. Jay, thank you for the 5 gifted. You streamers want to scream into a vacuum and have kids idolize and glaze them for clout, but what you do is real. It has meaning and value. Yes, I know it. And sometimes, because I'm so brain broken online, I forget that too. So this is great. Attending these sorts of protests is seeing the work in action, and it reminds me why I do this. You know what I mean? Because like, remember, I'm still in my own room. You know what I mean? I'm still in my own fucking room, so I forget. The only thing I see is like negative shit about how fake I am, how phony I am, how shitty I am, how much of a fucking fake socialist I am. If I look to like the hater communities, they are living in their own goddamn universe, bro. I was looking through it to see what they had to say. If there was anything that like, sometimes I look through it to see if there's like anything that happened that is like a clippable moment that was like clipped out of context to gear myself up for the inevitable onslaught that will occur. And I'll peek in there every now and then and I'm like, oh my God, they're on a entirely different universe. And it's so funny because on that entirely separate universe that those guys are in, they have created such a ridiculous echo chamber. Especially on Reddit, that like they're voluntarily misleading one another. I'm sure there's a feeling, a sense of community that comes out of that, and like all these memes that come out of all of that, so you feel good, like you feel like you belong. But ultimately you're not even engaging in these ideas at that point. You're just like completely, what is this? Oh yeah, notice how, okay, look at this. 4 hours ago someone submitted, one of Hasan's community members was able to partially pay their tuition by replaying clips of Hasan streams on YouTube. 46% upvoted. Parasites, dude. Literally swarm any kind of mention and try to do everything they can. W capitalism. Gotta love capitalism. Now here's a positive HasanAbi clip. There you go. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't agree with this guy on a lot of things. It's more of a matter on how he conducts himself, but he has the right attitude. Yeah. Fun fact, the protestants participating in the clip kept calling for an intifada, very anti-war protest. I just need you to understand something. They will keep doing this kind of shit over and over and over again. Okay? They will keep doing this kind of shit because they're trying to do their best. They're just trying to do their best. And if they can't actually make fun of or like legitimately change the attitude in public discourse, then the best they can do is just like talk shit. An example I was going to give you is the classic, they're making fun of me for reading the poem and just like talking shit. Yeah, this was the moment that they clipped. Hasan and protesters complain about agitator not being a student, only to realize the person next to them isn't a student either. That's the takeaway from 2 hours of the protest. Why do you do this for free? I don't understand it. Why do you do that for free? I was at the police attack at Emory University yesterday, and I watched my classmates getting hauled off in prison vans for peacefully protesting on the quad. We protested peacefully all together for the rest of the day, and we're going to continue protesting today. Hey, keep up the good work, chatter. I know you all will never see this, but I got tear gas 3 times today. I wanted to cry when I saw how our campus remains steadfast despite the repression. I want to thank you both for your unconditional support of student organizers. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys the reason why that doesn't work is because the greatest potion, the greatest counter to edgy nihilism that thrives online in sheltered communities that will never ever dare to legitimately do something that might cause them harm for the right cause, the greatest way to counter that is by actually doing the right thing. Hope is the antidote. Exactly. And the more they see the tide change, the more they start recognizing that maybe they are on the wrong side of history, the more they'll fling randomly, the more they'll try to grab onto anything and everything they can and try to pump it, try to brigade it. It's desperation. That's all it is. It's desperation. These are the desperate last gasps. That's why you have to keep up the positive energy. That's why you have to keep up the hope. And that's why you have to keep putting your best foot forward no matter what. Now let's look at some memes before we get to the here, and I'll show you another HasanAbi here real quick.
Hi, my name is
Bella. I'm a senior at Emory University. Today we were trying to build an encampment. This is the first time we were trying to build it. There were students from all sorts of backgrounds across the university, and we were out here just chanting peacefully. There were some folks that were trying to march, but then all of a sudden a huge patrol of police, many types of polices from Georgia, from Decatur, etc., all came in and basically swarmed the entire crowd. They demanded that we be on the sidewalk. Some of us did get on the sidewalk, but despite that, there were people on the sidewalk that were still arrested. I noticed throughout everything that was happening that students of color were targeted significantly throughout the process. There were black students that were being tased. There were black students that were being tear gassed, etc. I got tear gassed as I was trying to leave the protest. They didn't even allow us to leave, and they forced us to keep our stuff behind. So this has been a crazy situation, and we did not want it to go this way. And the excuse that the university has given so far is that we are outside agitators.
This never works. Historically, history will vindicate us always and forever. We have to keep believing that history does slant towards justice and emancipation. It is that revolutionary optimism that you have to maintain at every moment, regardless of how sad you seem, regardless of how dire the conditions look like. And the conditions do look awful all the time as contradictions worsen. But that's it. You can be realistic and you can find different things that motivate you. I think spite is also a big motivator. For me, it certainly plays a role, I think. Like, I'm a very stubborn person. I'm a very spiteful person. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when they do this kind of desperate attempt at being like, yeah, these guys actually fucking suck, lol, oh my God, see, there was an outside person in the encampment, lol, we got him. You know, when they say stuff like that, they think that it works, but it works in the exact opposite way. It makes me would have quit a long fucking time ago, but I will never give a dub to those pieces of shit that desperately want to see me quiet down. Shouts out to Bella. Shouts out to all the HasanAbi heads out there. Another HasanAbi head you met yesterday.
Hasan, nice to meet you, man.
Oh, Western Bing.
Thank you for being here. I was at one point one of your top 100 chatters, so like I am eternally grateful. I got a life. I got a full-time job. I graduated college. Thank you so much. Western Bing in chat. I send you links all the time.
Oh yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Hell yeah.
This is great. Like,
Black HasanAbi heads, rise up. Let's go.
13% in the chat. Let's go.
Hey. It's a little bit less now, but hey, we're working on it.
No, but like, it's so multicultural. When I got here, they were doing Seder, and those fucking losers over here were yelling over the Seder. So that just shows how much they care about, you know, what they say they care about.
Just want to antagonize. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah. No, losers, and we're doing what we...
Yeah, if this wasn't like a student encampment and it's like such a hot button issue for the media to seize on, now that you guys saw like what actually happened, counter protesters rolled up. They tried to swarm the encampment with the stated purpose of trying to set up their own occupied, like try to set up their own occupation, their little Israel, I guess, their little West Bank occupation. They tried to settle where the pro-Palestinian protests were occurring. You saw how quickly those fucking students immediately created a human wall around the encampment. How fucking insane was that, dude? And yet the media coverage on the matter, as I showed you earlier, hyper focuses on the Zionist counter protesters and how there were clashes at the protest. Just for the record, Western Bing is still top 31 and number 31 in the top chat. 7 U.S. rabbis and Israeli activists were arrested by Israeli police at the Gaza border. Oh yeah, I saw this. This is Omdim Be'achad, right? As a part of a delegation of 30 rabbis and other peace activists with rabbis for ceasefire who were attempting to bring food supplies into Gaza through the Eretz crossing. Yeah. This happened yesterday too. Pretty sure. Yesterday, Omdim Be'achad also tried to do this exact same thing, and they were also fucking violently stamped out. So there are people inside of Israel that are trying to do the right thing, but of course, the fucking fascist Israeli Gestapo is doing their fucking best, is giving it their all to stop this from happening. Undercover feds are easy to spot. Oh, come on now. You don't got to be like that. DeSantis pledges to expel all students from Florida if they protest Israel. Dude, come on. You can't be. America First Andes are going to get mad at this. There's no shot. Ombin Beyachad was yesterday. Yeah.
Line of Israel and Gaza. Hundreds of Jews and Palestinians, all citizens of Israel. And we're here at the exact moment where settlers came all the way from the West Bank to try and build new settlements in Gaza. We're here to say that more settlements, more occupation, more war, this will bring us nothing but more destruction and death, both of Palestinians and of Israelis. We're here to say that only by a ceasefire, by releasing the hostages and ending the war and the occupation, we can really achieve security. We can really have a normal life, both for Palestinians and for Israelis. This is our solution, a solution in which all people will live in safety, independence, equality, and freedom. Any other reality will only presume this endless war and will bring the demise of
Mr. Beast, Mr. Based.
all of us in this land.
Oh, yeah. Here was an undercover cop at the protest. I forgot to mention, bro. That cop was hovering around Hasan and Lol overruled. Yeah, I saw this. Bet he was a security and he just won't admit it. The guy that reported for being suspicious and got kicked out was actually hired by Hasan. Wow, your brain is amazing. Yeah, I brought my own undercover security guy. Why would I have him be undercover? Why wouldn't I literally be like, this is my security? But anyway, yeah, he was just like constantly looking at us and I noticed it, and he was just standing, he was just hovering around us and I noticed it and I was like, that guy's an undercover cop. I caught you. Good one. I was like, that motherfucker's an undercover cop, and I told Lolo, and I guess he like told the organizers and they kicked him out.
There's too much scary stuff. They're saying intifada. I'm very scared.
Look how he perked up when I said that. You thought he was a nervous fan waiting to ask for a picture? Bro, are you serious? He had hokas on. He has tactical pants, like pants that you can run around in. He's wearing a fucking jacket. It's not even like regular khakis either. As soon as I saw him standing around, I was like, yeah, this motherfucker is definitely a cop. He was also filming around too.
Join the union. Do we think this guy's a cop? Bro. I don't know. Looks like
Yeah, so smart. Bro, we keep banning this guy and he keeps coming with new sock accounts that he's already created a while ago. My favorite thing is when people make their own sock accounts, like in the same naming convention, like Stormy Echoes or whatever. I ban the guy, comes back with Stormy_5. Gonna ban him again, and he's gonna come in with Stormy_6. Yeah, so smart. Why is Israel wrong? They're defending their own country. The Hamas attack at first, so it's so obvious they defend themselves, you fucking idiot. They are defending democracy. You have some weird takes on democratic people defending themselves, you idiot. Oh, it's also not even a good talking point, brother. We've talked about this so many fucking times over, okay? You cannot do a democratic apartheid, okay? You can't be like, oh yeah, we're a democracy, and we've democratically decided that 5 million people have to be just forcibly squashed under the boot of the state. It doesn't work that way, okay? People are gonna inevitably resist against that kind of thing, and also they're going to meet the violence that they are receiving on a daily basis.
he's a cop. There's too much scary stuff. They're saying intifada.
He looked at me as soon as I said there's too much scary stuff. They're saying intifada. Why do you platform standing together? I'm critical of standing together. Stop platforming standing together. Shut up. I'm very critical of standing together, but when they do something cool and good, I'm gonna fucking openly admit it. They're significantly larger than any other fucking movement. They're one of the loudest voices currently protesting the occupation. I wouldn't say they're all anti-Zionist. There's definitely some, but overall, I don't think it's like I don't think I mean, I'm sure some of the Israeli chatters could communicate it a little bit better, but from what I've seen, it's not like they're not like Hadash or they're not like Mezervot. They're not as aggro for sure. Omdim Be'achad is the group that I just showed you, which means standing together. This is the group. You can see they have the purple signs. They predominantly focus on the West Bank. Like a lot of their criticism is like the occupation in the West Bank specifically. Anyway, let's look at what America is doing about these protests.
What happened when you have these Hamas demonstrators out? They're taking over bridges and they're taking over roads. And first of all, you don't have a right to do that. You have someone get stuck in traffic.
I'm not gonna lie. I went to University of Miami for a year, as you guys know. I don't know how much momentum there is for anti-Zionism in Florida in general. The vibes are down there. Okay.
How do you know if someone may need to get to a hospital, someone may need to pick up a child somewhere, and you're just going to commandeer the road because you have this ideological predilection? They tried to do that in Miami, and what happened? In 10 minutes, they got dragged off the road where they belonged, and we're not going to tolerate that. You look at these universities. When we have students who are doing things that, I mean, look, some of the stuff with the Hamas, I think is absurd that someone would go out and demonstrate on that. But, you know, when you're chasing Jewish students around, when you're not letting a Jewish professor enter a building, when you're targeting people like that, that's not free speech. I mean,
it's pretty funny to think that this is the guy when he ran for president, he had so many out and about Nazis in his campaign that every other week he had to fire another one that would make like based Groyper memes about how, like, you know, Jews will not replace us, and Ron DeSantis is going to defend against that. So funny. Yeah, remember the Black Sun edit that a prominent member in his campaign put together? Straight up put a Sonnenrod in a campaign ad. That was crazy. Remember all the fucking Florida Nazis that would regularly protest that were pro Ron DeSantis? Ron DeSantis himself has, and this kind of got like lost in the weeds a little bit, but a lot of young Republicans are straight up Groypers. We know this because, you know, we have to deal with them on a regular basis in this community. The Republican Party still has a stranglehold on the plus 65 demo, but there is also a weird group of individuals that are under the age of 35 that are rabid supporters of the Republican Party. And those guys are straight up Nazis. All the young Republicans now have turned into like weird fucking 4chan dipshits, just Destiny fans in general. And those guys, the Nicholas Fuentes contingency, absolutely loved Ronald McDonald DeSantis, and they would actually protest regularly. They would protest for Ron DeSantis regularly. If you remember, yeah, Ronald Dion DeSantis. Let me see if I can find some of these protests. Yeah, these guys. White nationals with handles like Diet Riche, Red Pill, and Scotty Big Balls greet each other with shouts of hail victory. Many of these haters were not Florida natives. As detailed on livestream, they traveled from Canada and California, spending thousands of dollars on flights to go and do neo-Nazi activity. How did that happen? It is pretty funny, though, that all those Nazis were like, oh, we love Ron DeSantis. We love him. And now he's like, we'll kill you if you actually protest against Israel.
It's harassment. That violates appropriate conduct.
I guess there's a silver lining. Those Nazis.
And yet Columbia, at Yale, all these places, those folks rule the roost. They do whatever they want. And these administrators and the presidents of these universities are weak, they're scared, and they don't do anything. You know, you do that in Florida at our universities, we're showing you the door. You're going to be...
These student protesters are watching the HasanAbi broadcast, and they don't even need to see the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour.